A very good afternoon. You're watching the Big Lunch Hour with me, Akshita. And first up, Karunanidhi today made a shocking statement supporting Jallikattu. He urged the state government to file a review petition to ensure the Jallikattu tradition continues in Tamil Nadu. He said that it is a part of Tamil Nadu tradition and all efforts must be made to preserve it. Well, it is something that has created controversy in the past, but the Supreme Court had banned the popular post-harvest Jallikattu or bullfights in Tamil Nadu. The Supreme Court said it violated provisions of the 50-year-old Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act. No doubt, of course, it is a tradition that's gone on for many years now. However, there has been a lot of talk about the kind of violations in store every time this particular festival takes place of bullfighting. We see a lot of animals getting hurt. We also see a lot of humans being killed in the Jallikattus. So, of course, the Supreme Court has come down harshly upon the Jallikattu in the past as well. But this time around, it had banned the sport, and Karunanidhi going ahead and stating that a review petition should be filed by the state government to ensure that Jallikattu is preserved. Of course, this could be just politics at play, keeping in mind that a lot of rural areas in Tamil Nadu celebrate Jallikattu, consider it a huge sport, and it is very, very popular. And with it being banned, a lot of people have expressed their displeasure, and Karunanidhi may just be reaching out to them. He has now urged the state government to file a review petition against the ban put up by the Supreme Court. And for all his passion for Tamil tradition and culture, DMK President Karunanidhi seems to have some reservations about supporting Jallikattu, though Tamil literary works since the Sangam era wax eloquent on this ancient sport in Tamil Nadu. In the past, he has gone ahead and expressed his displeasure over the sport, and now, this time around, he has gone on to state that there is no need to ban the sport and that it is part of legend. Time and again in the past, we have seen Karunanidhi expressing his displeasure over Jallikattu being performed, considering that so many people die and considering that it is a violation of the basic rights of an animal in the country. And now it looks like, considering that he is sitting in the opposition, the DMK chief has urged for a review petition to be filed. So we'll have to wait and watch to see if Jayalalitha will go ahead and do that. But Karunanidhi, in a queer twist there, has gone ahead and called for a review petition. So, of course, there's no doubt that this will go down well with some people. However, others will go ahead and slam Karunanidhi for going ahead and calling for a review. It is understood that he has written to the Tamil Nadu government urging it to file for a review. In a statement, he has asked Jayalalitha to respect everyone's feeling and ensure that the traditional bullfight continues in the state. He's gone on to state that Tamil heritage should be saved and everyone's feelings must be respected. And of course, several people came out and hailed the decision by the Supreme Court. A bench of Justice K.S. Radhakrishnan as well as Justice Pinaki Chandra Ghosh on May 7th had asked the centre to amend the law on preventing cruelty to animals to bring bulls within its ambit, which efficiently meant that Jallikattu came to an end. It also ensured that it struck down a 2011 Tamil Nadu law which regulated the conduct of Jallikattu. So it was no doubt a big drawback for all these people who believe that it is a part of their tradition, but at the same time, keeping in mind that this is a huge violation of animal rights, the Supreme Court, in a decision that was hailed by so many people, stated that under the law on preventing cruelty to animals, bulls should be brought under its ambit, which will stop bullfighting, which will stop bull races and the likes. And besides that, Karunanidhi also said that the state should keep in mind the law and order issues if a blockade is issued on Jallikattu, keeping in mind that this is, of course, a very important tradition. People, no doubt, will come out and issue their anger, will vent out their anger by staging protests. So probably along those lines as well, Karunanidhi has called for a review petition to be filed by the state government. fact, way back in 2006 to 2011, when he was the Chief Minister, Karunanidhi had remarked that instead of admiring the courageous youth taming the bull, the girl might actually harbour some fear, comparing her position with that of the bull. He had stated that the Supreme Court's latest order banning Jallikattu was something that he would refuse to comment on. That was soon after the incident took place. But now he has come out and stated that the people's sentiments should also be taken into consideration. This is something that many writers of Tamil heritage have been feeling, that the court had failed to take into consideration the age-old tradition before banning it. Several people have argued that if something like this is stopped, they should be stopping the slaughter of animals as well, stating that that too is the extreme form of cruelty by its own. Of course, now we'll have to wait and watch to see if the state government will take up what Karunanidhi has got to say. One point that he has made, of course, is that this could provide an issue to the law and order situation, considering that people could take to the streets to protest. Keep in mind, of course, that there was a law present that allowed Jallikattu to be performed from January to May, but now, of course, the Supreme Court has squashed that as well. We've got Marvin, an animal rights activist, now joining us over the phone line. Marvin, first of all, this was the Supreme Court intervening was something that was welcomed by a whole society, by the whole group, but there's no doubt that there's a great opposition to it as well. Where do you think the line should be drawn between tradition and breaking the law?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Marvin, please go ahead.
No, as mentioned by the Supreme Court, such kind of animal abuse and animal cruelty will not be tolerated. Therefore, the Supreme Court has been kind enough to pass on such orders where these kind of issues are a growing concern, and certain rural areas are practicing some kind of animal abuse and animal torture activities.
Absolutely. Also, Marvin, considering that the Supreme Court has intervened, do you think it needs to give more clarity on this? No doubt that this is something that was much awaited, that things like bullfighting, bull racing be stopped. But do you think there's a need for more clarity on the law as such?
Yes, there has to be more clarity amongst the public and the other local bodies and all the politicians that are especially involved in such heinous acts. There has to be more awareness being spread amongst a lot of people than just putting it out in the paper. Animal cruelty and animal issues are a growing concern, and like I mentioned earlier, there has to be great awareness amongst the general public.
Right. Also, of course, keeping in mind things like Jallikattu, it's been a part of tradition, it's almost part of culture, where people believe that to celebrate the post-harvest season, they need to engage in a sport like Jallikattu. And there's no doubt there's going to be widespread anger over this. So while we do preserve the rights of animals, do you think to a great extent a fine line needs to be drawn to ensure that the tradition is preserved?
When it comes to tradition, obviously there are a lot of questions that are going to be raised, and these are traditions that have been practiced from time immemorial. So when it comes to tradition, there's really not much an animal activist can do, because it is not the tradition is not followed by one person, but a large number of people, at the same time. So it is definitely a concern, and definitely these issues have to be highlighted, and tradition and animal cruelty have been continuing, and it is an issue which needs to be addressed.
Right, but it's not the first time we've seen the judiciary come out strongly against such acts, against cruelty meted out to animals. But do you think that even despite the ban being put up, such acts, there's a lot more that needs to be done for it to be controlled?
Sorry, I didn't get that. I didn't say it clearly.
The judiciary has stepped in, Marvin, but do you think to a great extent for the implementation of the ban, there's a lot more that needs to be done?
Well, like I said, in terms of implementation, there has to be widespread awareness. Just by putting it in the paper is not going to be enough. There has to be TV telecasts. The media have to collaborate with animal activists and kind of spread the message as much as possible.
Right, Marvin, thank you so much for talking to News9, sharing your views with us. There's no doubt that activists are very, very thrilled with the fact that the Supreme Court has intervened, but with DMK chief K. Karunanidhi now coming out and stating this, we'll have to wait and watch to see how this will swing, keeping in mind, of course, the fact that Karunanidhi could, in fact, went out to the emotions of certain people, and with this statement, maybe a lot more people will rise up on the streets demanding that a review petition be filed by the state government. We do have to keep in mind that this is a tradition. Jallikattu is a sport, a culture that has been prevalent for generations together, and people have expressed their anger over the fact that the Supreme Court has banned it. And with Karunanidhi now calling for a review petition, there's no doubt that his one voice will spur thousands more in the state.